What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be going to the mine. This is our craft. So the first stage is powered by 3 Reliant engines. Then we have a Terrier second stage. And the transfer stage right here is also a Terrier. Here's the Munlander. Has all the science parts I've unlocked so far in this save. Mystery goo. We have 4 Z100 batteries. It's powered by a Spark liquid fuel engine. We have 4 baguettes on the outside. And what's going to happen is the top part will decouple and get the rest of the Kerbal home. We are taking a scientist Kerbal. We're taking Bob Kerman, so we have a probe on board. I have facility level 2 VAB and level 2 launch pad. So the mission that we're going to try to complete is dock with 2 vessels around the mine. This will be a 2-part video. We're going to be taking Bob Kerman because he's a scientist Kerbal and he'll be able to reset the experiments, so I don't have to bring multiple mystery goos and multiple experiments. Here we are, we're going to launch. Okay. So it's going to be a fairly standard gravity turn. We're going to go into an 80 by 80 kilometer orbit. Once we get to about 75 meters per second, we're going to start turning. This rocket is quite unstable because because of the tri-coupler and the 3 Reliant engines. But still works. We're going to turn off the SAS to make sure it stays on the prograde marker. So you want to keep your time to apoapsis fairly consistent. Keep it the same while getting into orbit. So now we're pretty much just going to coast our way to orbit, keeping that time to apoapsis pretty consistent. Okay, guys, we're now in a about 80 by 80 kilometer orbit. I think it's 82 by 82 kilometers. And now we will be doing our burn to the moon. So you want to place your burn about a sixth ahead of the moon. Just play around with it until you get an encounter, really. We are now just about to start our burn that will get us to the moon. We're starting it out with our second stage that got us into orbit. Stage just ran out of delta V. Now we have to decouple it, continue with the transfer stage. Here we go, we are just about to get the encounter. There we are. So we'll have to do a mid-course correction burn. Here we are planning it, just to make sure we will get an orbit around the moon that's equatorial. I'm just playing around with the maneuver node until I get a nice trajectory that I like. So I set it as a collision course because I was going to decouple the transfer stage that we're currently on, and have it smash into the surface of the moon. It's not what I ended up doing in the end, though. So here we are, warping to the maneuver. We're going to burn until we get that this trajectory I like. So about now is when I decided that I had enough delta V in the transfer stage to crash it into the surface of the moon after I got into a stable orbit. We have about 8 more seconds until we have to do the burn. It will collide with the moon, and we will decouple the transfer stage. Then we will get into a stable lunar orbit. But that's not what happened. So I didn't realize this, but I ran out of power. So I had to warp around to a place in range of the sun, out of the shade of the moon, so I could get power. And then I will warp back around and then commit the burn. Here we are, we're about to burn retrograde to collide with the Mun. We're going to decouple the transfer stage, and then we will get back into a stable orbit. There we go, we are now colliding with the Mun. And so we're just burning prograde until we have a relatively stable orbit, so we won't crash into the surface of the Mun or any of the lunar features. So there we go. I just got us a collision course with the Mun. So we're gonna try to land in, forgot the name of that crater right there. So we're just going to warp down until we're relatively close to the surface, and we're going to start burning retrograde. So here we are, we're right over the crater right now. And I'm just adjusting the trajectory. So we want to kill off all of our orbital speed to make it all vertical. Kill off all horizontal speed. Here we are, burning on the retrograde marker. Land. We want to land under 5 meters per second, I would say. So here, I accidentally burned a bit too much, and I did a little bounce. It's okay, because still landed. So right now, I'm just going to mess around on the Mun. I'm going to do some science and plant a flag. There we go, we got this flag planted. We landed. This is actually my second attempt at landing. First time I did it, I landed on my side. So we're gonna leave the bottom part of the lander, and we're just going to take Bob and all the science up into orbit. This is actually what the Apollo missions did. They left the landing stage on the moon and then flew into orbit and rendezvoused with the command module. So I accidentally overshot a little bit here, but I fixed that and get into a 10 by 10 kilometer orbit, I think. So here I'm just fixing up the orbit so it's nice and even.
2, 1.
So right here it's the Apollo 17 mission, and it uses the same mechanism by leaving the landing stage on the moon. Thanks for watching. Assume if you made it this far, you probably liked my content. So why don't you subscribe?